There you go. Can
Good,
you hear us?
good afternoon.
All right, good afternoon. Well, thanks for joining us this afternoon. We appreciate you being here. We are interviewing for the position of President and CEO at North Florida College.
Yes,
So we've got just about an hour. So I want to be respectful of your time and our board's time. So what I'd like to do is just take a moment and let the board introduce themselves to you so you know who you're speaking to, and then they have some questions that they prepared.
thank
Malcolm
you.
Hines, Swanee County.
Adrian Taylor, Swanee County.
Sandra Haas.
County.
Ricky Lyons, Lafayette County.
Mitchell Herring, I'm the board attorney.
Billy Washington, I'm from Madison County.
Daniel
Yes.
Tillman, Hampton County.
And my name is Tyler Cootie. I'm the Executive Director of Employee Services. So,
Okay.
all we really know about you, Dr. Evans, is what you submitted in your application packet to us. So if you want to take a moment, introduce yourself to the group, tell us a little bit about you, and then they've got some questions and they'll start from there, okay?
Very good. Thank you. Again, good afternoon, and I certainly appreciate you for allowing me this time to talk with you about the presidency at North Florida College. My name is Gilbert Evans, born and raised in Florida from a little town called Crescent City near Palatka. And I am a product of Putnam County, and I am a product of the Florida Community College system where I attended at St. John's River State College. I'll start by sharing with you that the most influential person in my life was my mother. And my mother's name was Ernestine Evans. And my mom passed away my senior year in college. So she was never allowed to see me graduate from college. But on the day of my graduation, she had written a note and had given it to her doctor to give to me on graduation day. And why do I tell you this story is because what she had written in that note to me on my graduation day those things have been the guiding principles of my life. So if you were to ask me who am I, there are three guiding principles, things that my mom shared with me before she passed away. And one was to seek a good education. And as you can tell from my resume, I attended community college, state college, got an AA degree, got a bachelor's degree in English from Florida State University. Go Seminoles. Then I received a master's degree from Florida State University as well. Then I went on to receive a PhD from University of Florida. So for the Gator fans, I'll say go Gators. And I also attended law school at the University of Florida. So education is very important to me. The second thing my mom told me was to work. And I honestly believe that work is a semi-qua non, which is Latin for without which nothing. If you don't work, you don't eat. And I am a strong believer in hard work and ethics. And if you do those things, you will succeed. And the last thing my mom told me was she said, always keep God first. And I am a strong believer that if you seek the higher power and do what's right, goodness will always come back to you. So that's me, Gilbert Evans.
All right, good deal. We'll go ahead and start out, and I'll start first. How would you foster a culture of innovation and continuous improvement at North Florida College?
How would I foster innovation and continuous improvement? The first thing I would do is do needs assessments. Look at what we have, where we're trying to go based upon feedback from staff, faculty, students, and the community, and come up with ideas and methodologies to improve upon the work that we've already accomplished so that we can continue to do our best in reaching students and helping them to attain their academic goals and successes.
All right, I've got the next few. What is your vision of a successful and efficient rural college in the 21st century?
I'm sorry, would you repeat that for me, please?
What is your vision of a successful and efficient rural college in the 21st century?
I believe that what will make an excellent rural college in the 21st century is offering programs that are needed in that community, making sure that we have the teaching and learning, and then make sure we also have the workforce development programs that need to be done or had in that particular locality so that students and business and industry could be successful. At my prior community college, I was responsible for workforce development when workforce development came to the community colleges. And many of those programs that I developed and started at St. John's River State College, they are still in existence on today. So what I think would make an excellent community college, again, is needs assessment, finding out what's needed in the community and implementing those things based upon collaboration with students, faculty, and business and industry in the area.
Okay. What strategies would you implement to improve student retention and graduation rates at North Florida College?
Those are very important concepts, graduation and retention. I was responsible for recruitment and retention and completion at St. John's River State College in Palatka, Orange Park, and St. Augustine. We noticed that we had students who were coming into the institution, but they were not persisting, nor were they graduating. So I think what needs to be done, it needs to be not just getting the students in the door, but you have to have advising and counseling services, wraparound services so that students can be successful. A lot of things that we've done in order to keep the student in the classroom, making sure that they pass, make sure that they persist. We had programs such as early alert systems. And what do I mean by early alert systems? Those were systems that were in place if an instructor saw where a student was not being successful. You were alerted, advising was alerted, student services was alerted early so we can bring those students in, come up with some ideas and concepts to make sure that they are successful, i.e. wraparound courses, tutoring, and those sorts of things to make sure the student is successful. So I think in order to make a student remain and persist and graduate, you have to actually stay with the student through all of those processes and make sure that in every case the student is followed and helped. Not only did we offer tutoring services to ensure graduation and retention, but we offered clothes closets. We offered food vouchers. We offered those type of things because we even offered childcare because a lot of times students, especially in the state college system, sometimes don't have those bare essential things that they need at home in order for them to be successful in the classroom. And if a child is hungry, it's going to be very difficult to teach them. So we tried to make sure we educated and helped the total student. So those things would help us to make sure that we recruit and also retain and also complete students.
I get the next one. Describe any previous involvement that you've had in legislative issues.
Yes, ma'am. I was and I still am involved in legislative issues. As a matter of fact, at the last legislative session, I was in Tallahassee talking with our legislators and our senators and representatives advocating for students and children. The next Speaker of the House, as you all know, will perhaps be Sam Garrison. And Sam Garrison and I are very close. We were in the same Rotary Club, and he was even also the chair of the trustees at St. John's River State College. So I know my legislators. I do understand the importance of advocating with them so that we can bring the money back so that we can do the things that are needed to promote the mission, values, and vision of the institution.
I've got the next couple questions. Can you provide an example of how you have successfully navigated financial challenges in the past?
How have I successfully navigated financial challenges in the past? As you know, we're having to do now more with less. And especially with a lot of times the funding from the state is not what it has been in Florida previously. So what you will have to do in order to meet the objectives of the institution, you will have to try to find other sources of income to assist with the mission of the institution. For example, grants. Also, perhaps building a rapport with business and industry where they will finance programs that are needed for them to have employees in their institution or at their places of work. I'll share one thing that we did at St. John's River State College. As you know, the state of Florida does not allow community colleges or state colleges to build dormitories. But what we did was we entered into a partnership and found a donor who actually donated us $16 million to build a dormitory for students, athletes, and our art students. And that money was donated because of the relationship that we built with the donor and the college by selling our mission, by selling our values, and selling what we believe, which is to make sure that all students are successful. And as a result of that relationship, we were able to secure the $16 million to build a state-of-the-art dormitory for our students.
Thank you. The next question is, how would you ensure North Florida College maintains high academic standards and program quality?
You would ensure that through teaching and learning, making sure that you hire the most qualified staff, making sure that that staff is well trained and make sure that they have the professional development that they need so that they can be successful in those programs and in those academic areas. Academic success is always based upon making sure that faculty have the professional development they need, have the things that they need in order to run their classrooms and for them to be successful. So you have to make sure you have qualified staff and make sure that the resources are there for them to do the things they need to do for students to be successful.
Okay, I have the next question, and it is, what is your view on diversity, equity, and inclusion as it might relate to North Florida College?
I believe that all students, regardless of race, age, sex, are important, and all students deserve a good education. If the student has a desire to succeed and want to be successful, I believe that they should be given the tools to help them to be just that. And it should not be based upon race, age, sex, but it should be based upon the desire that that student has to move forward and be successful. So diversity, equity, and inclusion is not important to me. The student is, and making sure that we meet the need of every student, regardless of who they are or where they're from. Because I honestly believe that every student who desires a good education should be able to receive that education. And that's one reason why I've dedicated my life to the community college, to state colleges. Because when Dr. Wattenberger, who is known as the father of the college system, developed the community college system, he said that it should be affordable. It should be an open door. It should not be based upon your IQ and your skills, but we meet the student where he or she is and help that student to be successful. So that's my philosophy.
Thank you. Okay, North Florida College's annual operating budget is approximately anywhere kind of between 14 and $16 million.
Mhm.
If you were asked by the Commissioner of Education to cut the budget by 10% over the next 6 months, what steps would you think you would take?
First thing I would do is look at the strategic plan. Look at the priorities of the institution. What are we trying to accomplish? And make sure that the budget is aligned with the strategic plan of the college. If we have funds that don't align with the strategic plan and our priorities, those things could be cut. So look at the strategic plan, look at the money that you have, and cut where it's needed. The last place I would want to cut is in academics, because we want to make sure that students have everything they need in order to be successful.
What experience do you have with fundraising, and how would you approach fundraising?
As I just articulated, when we got that $16 million donation, that was done through our foundation, and that money was donated, and that was an effort of fundraising. I believe that it's also very important when it comes to fundraising, and I have done this at my previous college, making sure that we keep in touch with alumni, because a lot of times alumni give back to the institution, make sure that the institution has a strong alumni association. And also with fundraising, you need to build relationships with business and industry. Find out what the businesses and industry needs in the area, and the college could supply the teaching and learning while the business gives the on-hand experiences for those things. So with fundraising, you have to build a relationship with business, with industry. You have to make sure you have a strong relationship with your alumni so that they could give back to the mission of the institution.
Thank you.
I have the next question.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you place on workforce, technical, and certificate programs? And do you feel those programs are as essential as an AA course?
Very good question. I believe that workforce education is very important. All students are not going to go the AA track. Some students want to learn a particular trade, a particular workforce program, do it for a year, and then go out and actually work. It's what track the student wants to go. If a student wants to go the AA track, get the AA Associate in Arts degree, and then go on to a 4-year institution, that's perfectly okay. If the student wants to get an AS degree in welding, in culinary arts, that's also okay. It's the track that the student chooses, and I believe that both of them are equally important. And students have to have access and choices when it comes to their education.
Okay, I have the next question. This is a two-part question. I'm gonna give you both parts in advance.
Yes, sir.
What part do you foresee the state college system will play in the future of education in Florida? And then the second part of that is, how does NFC fit into that?
Could you repeat that one more time for me? How do
you foresee the state college system? How does that system fit into the overall education of the state of Florida? Then how does NFC fit into that, the state college system?
Well, as you know, in Florida, there's always been the Great 28, and North Florida has been a part of the college system for a very long time. And I believe that the Florida college system plays a very important role in the Florida education system. Our students are just as successful as those students who attend the university. I believe that the Florida college system schools offer a great education, for I am a product of that. And the one thing I always loved about the Florida college system is it was affordable and it was always an open door. And we always believe that every student has the right to be educated. So I believe that the Florida college system plays a very important part in the overall scheme of education in Florida, and it will continue to play that important part. And North Florida College is a part of that. So we will educate those students in the 6 counties that we serve to make sure that they're given every opportunity they need in order to be successful. As I articulated earlier, Dr. Wattenberger, when he created the Florida college system or the community college system, he believed that students should not have to travel 4 or 5 hours away from their home for an education. His original scheme for community colleges was a student can go less than 45 miles from home to an institution, to a 2-year institution. So there's nothing wrong with going to community college. I'm a product, then going on elsewhere where you want to go.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you a little bit of background about NFC. We are #1 in the 150% graduation rate in the state of Florida by a long shot percentage wise. We are #1 in nurses graduating from here and passing the NCLEX in the college system. We are also #1 though in being the smallest college in the state college system, whether you know that or not.
Oh, I know,
And-
yes.
Exactly, and because of that, we have a higher per FTE funding rate, right? So whenever you go to Tallahassee and you talk to lawmakers, they tend to not be able to get beyond that rate of FTE cost, right? Because they don't have the chance to dig in the weeds and really look and understand. So how do you, as a college president, go to Tallahassee and justify the relevancy of NFC to the Board
I'm
of
sorry, you just
Education?
went out on me.
Say that again?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Did you hear my question?
You went out on me. I apologize, sir.
Okay. So this is my question. How do you justify the relevancy of NFC to the Board of Education, the Secretary of Education, the governor, taxpayers, and all that, given that we are the highest per FTE cost in the state?
You're gonna have to repeat that question one last time, one more time for me, please.
No problem. How do you justify the relevancy of North Florida College to the Board of Education or lawmakers in Tallahassee, given that we are the highest per FTE cost in the state?
How do you justify that? You justify it by the fact that we have students. We have students who want to learn. We're providing a quality education for those students. And we want to be funded just as other state colleges are in the nation. It doesn't matter if we have the highest or not. I believe that all students in the area, just as any other part of Florida, should be funded just as anybody else. And our success, as you said, highest nursing rates, and those things, they speak for themselves. And because we are successful, we should be helped just as any other. It doesn't matter what your size is. And I do understand that North Florida is one of the smallest colleges in the state system, but you're just as important. You're producing and you are graduating students. They are being successful. So that's what matters most.
Thank you.
All right, well, Dr. Evans, we have a little bit of time. Do you have any question for the board?
Yes, I have a couple of questions, if I may. Can you tell me what characteristics are you looking for as a board in your next president?
I think for myself, someone that can get out in the 6-county area, be involved with the school districts, find out what the students' needs are from the school perspective, and then be able to turn that into, the offerings at the college. As we all know, everything's moving fast. What we're doing now has been, the last several years has been very successful. But, 5 years from now, it's probably gonna be a totally different picture. One of the things that we're dealing with in this six county area is, in the last couple of years, we have had our share of hurricanes, which has changed a lot of things. Of course, we went through COVID like everybody else did. Those hurricanes have affected industry. Also, I guess maybe the age paper mill at Perry has it's closed down, which was a major employer. Not only did it employ people at the mill, but a lot of people in this area, Six County area, has a lot of timber that the prices of that is affected because of the closure of the mill. So there's all
Yes, sir.
kinds of things that feed them. So I think the college president needs to be aware of all these things and be aware of the kinds of things that we can train our kids to be so that they can get a job, within the area if they wish to. But it's hard to foresee what the future might hold. But you need to have the pulse of that. And then,
Okay.
as you discussed, technical education is very important. It's very important to the state. We need to keep on trying to find different areas for that. Just numerous things. That's just kind of my perspective. Some of the others probably have something they'd like to tell you too.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that.
Dr. Evans, my concern is that we're rural, and I mean, we are rural. Our kids are coming from basically impoverished families, a lot of them. And a lot of them can't afford to go to college. We offer a very affordable college here, but we need help in the legislature really bad. So we need a president who can make a difference legislatively for this college with money. Because right now, we're not being funded. I mean, that's just being honest. We don't get funded at the level we need to give these students what they need.
Thank you for sharing that with me. And I know funding is very important, and a lot of times we depend on the funds from the state to assist. And a lot of times that's based on the FTE, and especially when your FTE is not as high as others, that could be an issue. But I think in that particular case, you just need an advocate. You need someone there in Tallahassee, because I don't care what anybody says, the game is played in Tallahassee. You have to have that relationship with the legislatures to bring the money back home. My next question that I had was, where do you want to see North Florida College in the next 5 years? Undoubtedly more funding, as it was just stated. Anything else you would like to see change?
Well, we are consistently, I'll brag about North Florida College all day. We are consistently #1 in a lot of areas throughout the state. Academically, I mean, we really do outshine our peers, the great 28, the other 27. I would like to see that continued. And I would like to see that shouted out a little bit more to where people around us know that. And especially to your colleagues who are the other presidents, I want them to be shamed into knowing that North Florida is better than them.
And we have to tell our story. We just have to tell our story. Every opportunity we get, you have to tell your story. You have to continue to tell it. And you were talking about a rural area. I don't know if you've ever heard of Crescent City. We have one red light. That's where I was born and raised. And right now, and I love rural areas. Born and raised, I believe they're great places to raise children. But I do understand the poverty. That's why I was saying earlier, a lot of times we have to take special care of our students, not just with English and math and Shakespeare and reading, but you have to make sure that you provide for those essential basic needs, as Maslow said in his hierarchy of needs, food, make sure there's shelter, make sure they have clothing, and we have to provide for those students in order for them to be successful in the classroom. And my last question was, what are the next steps in this process?
Yes, sir. This is our last interview for the day. The board's not gonna take any action today, so we've got a special meeting scheduled for next Friday. So they'll deliberate on next Friday, and then I'll be in touch with you either way after that. If you have any questions in the meantime, next week, whatever, you can reach out to me. I have your contact information. For now, we'll just let the board kind of think about everything, and then they'll deliberate next Friday on the 29th, and that's posted on our website. We'll update the timeline accordingly.
Okay. Will there ever be a chance for on-campus interviews, or is this the only?
I think they'll decide that on Friday of next week, so that'll be the next step. So if there's an opportunity, then we'll reach out to you then. Yes, sir. All right, well, if that's
Very
it, then
good.
we'll let you get back to
Well, I
your
want to
day.
say thank you.
Yep, you have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you all so much thank you for meeting with me, and I look forward to hearing from you. And again, thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.